We're all looking for ways to incorporate automation on our shop floors when it comes to production, whether that's bar feeders or robots or fully automated lights out cells. But what if there was a way to help automate your programming as well? What's up, guys? Ian Sandusky from Lakewood Machine Tool, back here again for Practical Machinist. And today on Shop Talk, we're going to be diving into the wild world of AI and how it can help solve your staffing challenges, your programming challenges, and help you do more at your shop. But before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications below to make sure you never miss a video. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so as promised today, we're going to be talking about something that has been a very hot button issue in 2023 and something that is going to continue to be a big factor in a lot of aspects of a lot of industries in 2024, and that is artificial intelligence or AI. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, automation is something that was definitely one of the big factors in 2023. If you saw any of our shop tours this year, you can see that a lot of the really big shops are investing very heavily in automation. One of the biggest things I see driving automation is the lack of skilled labor. You know, we've talked about this a lot of times with getting people into the trades and training people up, but there is a huge decline coming of skilled people in this trade. You know, the guys that started a long time ago that have been in it 20, 30, 40 years, they're starting to retire. And while a lot of companies are doing a lot of great things with training to get people back into the trade and kind of reinvigorate it, at the end of the day, it's going to take a bit of time to get people back into it, get people trained up until we have a fully skilled contingent of skilled machinists again. So this whole automation is about helping companies get through that. And programming is a huge bottleneck when it comes to automation. I mean, think about it. To be able to write a CAM program in CAM software to, run a CNC machine, whether that's Swiss, EDM, milling, turning, they all need a CAM program. Programmer needs to not only know how to run a CAM software, whether that's a Mastercam, a Fusion, a Hypermill, whatever it may be, they also need to understand machining. There's a lot of skill that goes into that. So a big bottleneck in shops is that CAM programmer or those CAM programmers, whether they're a machinist on the floor that also program or whether it's a dedicated role, being able to program. So there's a company that I first met at EMO in Hanover, Germany last year, the giant tool show, called CloudNC. And they've come out with a new product called Cam Assist that really caught my attention. It was really interesting to hear about it. We'll link it in the show notes below so you can get the overall pitch. But what they've done is basically harness the power of AI to help programmers do more. One thing that really caught my eye about these people is that a lot of companies go out there and they promise you the world. They say, hey, you install this, you're going to be able to do 1,000 times more, or it's going to produce perfect parts every time. And that's not what this company is saying. What CloudNC's aim is with Cam Assist is to be able to get programmers 80% of the way there in their CAM programs from a solid model with one click. Almost sounds too good to be true, right? It's how do you get 80% of the way there on a program with one click? We're going to check it out. But just to kind of give you a little more background on it, what this does is they've programmed it up with AI so you can install it into Fusion or Mastercam. You bring in a model, you press one button, the Cam Assist button, it basically sends that to the cloud that they have their AI on and sends you back a program. Is that program going to be 100% perfect? Sometimes maybe, but often you still need that CAM programmer to go through, make sure they like the approaches, make sure they like the depths of cut, make sure the work holding makes sense, make sure the tools they're using are tools they have on the floor, but it helps them do more. Now, I've seen this in the wild a few times. I managed to get my hands on a copy. I think we should go check it out. Let's go take a look. Okay guys, so here we have Fusion 360, and as I mentioned, this is available for Fusion 360, or is it just Fusion these days? I can't remember, and Mastercam. Now the Mastercam is still in beta, so I'm going to show you guys in Fusion because this is what the Mastercam version is going to look like very shortly. So here on screen you can see we have our part. It's a pretty standard part, you know, it's not too crazy, but it's also not too simple. There's lots that we can do with this. So I'll just give you a quick pan of that so you can see. We have our vise set up in there, and we also have our stock. So this is going to be a two-part operation where we're going to do everything from one side, flip it, and then do the other side. So all I have to do here is install CloudNC's Cam Assist. For sake of expedience here, I've already done that. So we have our Cam Assist button up here. When you go into, so if we're in design, you won't see this because you're not going to use this in design. This is for manufacturing. When we go down to manufacture, that's when we're going to see this Cam Assist button. So, like I said, 80% of the way there with one click. So we're going to do just that. We're going to click our magic CloudNC Cam Assist button, and it's going to open this menu. So this menu is basically going to set up how we want CloudNC's Cam Assist to program this part. So first we have our tool library. So whether you're working in inch or metric, you can choose. Also, you can customize your own library. So essentially the library is where CloudNC's Cam Assist is going to go pull your tooling from. So whether you have custom tooling that you want to set up, whether you don't use certain kinds of end mills, you know, we don't use bull nose here, we only use ball. So I can go and take them out of there. Maybe I have 3 flute tooling in certain diameters that's not in here. I can add them in. But it's a very good starting spot. Now, although I'm in Canada, we use inch and imperial for everything. So I'm going to choose inch. Our stock material, aluminum, brass, whatever we want it to be. Today we're going to do aluminum just for sake of expediency. And we can choose our machine. So I already have this set up for my Haas VF4SS. But when I go in here, you can see they have pretty much every kind of machine under the sun in here. And let's say that it's not set up in here. My machine, I have some weird one that maybe was a short run or it's a custom machine. I can go and choose some generic options with, you know, to kind of give it some specs. But we're going to leave it on my VF4SS right now. Machining mode. So like I mentioned at the top of the video, they have actually released a 3+2 for 5-axis work. I'm not going to use it today because I don't have 3+2 on my machines. We're just going to do 3-axis, but it's a new feature. I highly recommend checking it out. I got to play around with it a little bit, and believe me, it works better than you'd think. But we're going to stick with this one in 3-axis. Now, the one thing that I often criticize a lot of demo stuff for, you know, when you're at a trade show and you see some part running perfectly, you go, yeah, of course, you know, this is a perfect work holding situation. This is a perfect machining situation. It looks nice, but what's the reality of that? Well, CloudNC thought of that too. So they have right here in the target setups, work holding security. So what that's going to do is, let's say this is excellent. I've pretty much welded this tool to the table, or this workpiece to the table. This is going to use higher feeds, higher speeds, bigger tooling because the workpiece setup can take it. But let's say that maybe I'm not in a position where I can hold it as well. You know, maybe I'm holding on to only a little bit of the part. Maybe it's a thin-walled piece of extrusion that I'm starting with. I can go and slide this down. And what that's going to do, you can see right below here, is drop the diameter of the tooling as one aspect. So it's going to have less force on the tool as it goes, or on the workpiece as it goes. But let's say, for sake of illustration, we've pretty much welded this thing to the table. It's going to use bigger tools, heavier cuts. So now I go through to my tool use. So this goes and pulls your tool library. So what I can do here is I can go through and say, hey, do you know what? We actually don't like the 1/8 bullnose we have in-house. I can take this off the list. You know, maybe I'm waiting on an order of more 0.17 drills. I can take them off the list. Or maybe I can say, you know what? I really wanted to use this tool. I can gray out everything but that tool and prioritize it. Easy peasy. So I go through, now I have advanced. And it's funny because it says advanced. These are advanced options. But the interface for this is so simple. It's very, very handy. So I can go and say, do I want it to do face milling? Maybe I don't want it to do face milling. I'm already starting with ground stock perhaps. I can take that off. Bulk roughing. So, you know, these are our typical roughing toolpaths. Do I want detailed roughing? Do I want it to go in there and take a lot of little cuts out? I can do that too. Deburring, hole making, I can choose all these things here. And then also I can go through and say, do you know what? Do I want to use a chamfer mill to deburr this, or do I want to use a ball mill? We're going to use a chamfer mill. So I'm going to hit run. Now this is when it's sending this file with all my options out to the cloud. And you're going to be surprised how quick this is. Now, is it instant? No, but it might as well be. It gives you enough time to pretty much go get a cup of coffee and come back. So it's going to compute all my finishing strategies, all my approaches, and it's going to give them back to me as toolpaths. Now here's the thing, guys. This isn't giving you recommendations. It's going to do it for you. Now, you got to check it. We want to look at it. I don't want to take this, pull it straight out of my computer, put it in a machine, press go, and walk away. That'd be crazy. No matter what, you got to check your CAM programs. But like it kind of says on the tin, it's going to get you 80% of the way there. You know, there's no value in a programmer going through and having to select 30 holes to drill. It's much easier if they can just put this on there and away it goes. So here we are. We now have our setups. So for Cam Assist, we go and click on this here. You can see it's going to export all my toolpaths into this here. So we have our facing toolpath. You can see that's a pretty standard facing toolpath. It's basically just taking the top of the stock off. We have our roughing. This is going to go through and rough out that part. You can see this is basically the way I would program it. It's very, very similar. If I go to flat, this is going to finish all my flats to make sure that those are coming out in spec. I go to wall. Again, you can see everywhere where there's a flat wall, that's going through and finishing that part for me. Hole making, again, it's going to drill my holes for me. I believe if there's threads in this, in the model, it will actually pick that up and thread them as well, but I'd have to double check that. Chamfering, you can see it's going to go and chamfer these areas here. It's identified that that is a chamfer, so it chamfers it for you. And then I also have my deburring. So it's going to go through and see everywhere that it can deburr or needs a deburr and deburr it. And you can see it's not going to run that tool right into the wall anywhere, even with those angles where it needs to stop a little short. It's just fine. Now if I go over to my second setup, you can see I need to turn this off and turn this one on. You can see that this is going to finish it off on the other side, but we'll save that for another day. Now the really important thing about this, guys, is that when we're talking about helping people do more with less or taking jobs or whatever it may be, there's no value in a programmer going through and selecting 100 holes to drill. That doesn't do anything for them. Or going and selecting every contour. That doesn't help them. What this does is take all the busy work and the basic kind of admin tasks with programming out of there for you. I still want to go through, check my speeds and feeds. Do you know what? Maybe I don't like a toolpath that it generates. Well, I can take that one out and I can add my own toolpath in. Maybe I don't like the way it's doing something. Maybe I want to size this in before I size this in because I know how that part is. You can go and reorder this, or you can keep what you like and add in what you don't. It's very, very simple that way. Okay, guys, so I think we can all agree that this all sounds really good in theory. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to run that program more or less straight out of the machine. What I did is I scaled that model to about 50% just because I didn't have a piece of aluminum big enough on the shelf. I reprogrammed it, same thing with that one-touch system. And the only thing I did is I changed one feed. I dropped it a little bit because I was a little nervous. And that's all I did. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna put that straight in my VF2, and we're gonna run that program and see how it comes out. Again, this is straight out of CloudNC's Cam Assist. So there you have it, guys. Very, very interesting stuff. I'm definitely going to be playing around with it more. As mentioned, we did show it in Fusion, but it is, I believe, in beta for Mastercam at the moment. One thing I keep seeing when I'm kind of looking at the online reaction to this right now is that people are saying, oh, it's going to take jobs. Oh, it's going to eliminate everything for computers. When you look at it, guys, CAM software itself, people probably said the same thing about that. Oh, you don't need a skilled machinist to go and program G-code anymore? It's going to take jobs. Did it take jobs? No, it helped machinists be able to do more. Instead of having to write out 30 lines of code by hand, they could click one button, you know, a contour, and have a toolpath. It's really the same thing. You know, I'm sure people said it when CNC came out. Oh, we don't need 10 guys cranking handles on machines anymore. It's going to take jobs. It didn't really take jobs. It just helped deal with the fact that less people are in the trade. And when it comes to this stuff, guys, you know, it's already here. It's here, the same way CNC technology is here, the way CAM programming software is here. Now AI programming is here. You can turn your back on it and say, do you know what, no, I don't like it, and that's fine. But I think it's very important to stay open to these developments when they come up, because you don't know which one's going to be the next level of a CNC machine or the next level of CAM software. And I think we can see there's something here. It's very, very interesting. So I highly recommend you go check it out. They do have a free trial that does include that 3+2. Check it out for yourself, play around with it, see how you like it. I highly recommend you do. In any case, guys, I'd like to know in the comments below, what do you think about this technology? Is it something you're interested in? Is it something you're still a little nervous about? I'd love to know your thoughts below. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications below to make sure you never miss a video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You take care.